Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to talk to you about leadership derailment and failure and 9 ways to succeed as a leader. So let's dig into it. First of all, what I'm talking about is a synopsis of our book, Superstar Leadership. And there's research and practical advice on how to be successful. I'm going to get to the guts of it for you right now. And I wrote this book with my business partner, Doug Watzeba. Now, there are many management and leadership gurus today. We've got the names of many of them listed here. And there's more leadership advice than ever before. And a lot of it all goes together. What we're talking about here is the nuts and bolts of it to help that team leader, that supervisor, that department manager, that first line supervisor, that department leader, be more successful, coaches and trainers as well. What is it that makes the difference? Because here's the problem. Leadership today has some of its lowest trust than ever before. And here you'll see some of the high profile leadership failures that hit the media day in and day out. But you know what? Every day there's even more of these leadership failures, from poor execution to abuse to poor listening to miscommunication to being lackadaisical in terms of approach. And what does it cost? It costs companies billions of dollars in lost sales, productivity, employee engagement, and profits. So that's what I'm talking about. Look at this picture. What do you notice if you stare at it just for a moment or two? Yeah, it seems like it's moving, doesn't it? And what do you see here? Now really look. See, do you see a face and the word liar? So, at first glance, the first picture, we may not see that. Well, we know it's not moving. And here we may have saw the face, but not the word liar. See, that's what's going on. And that's what we got to be concerned about. And this one here, what do you see here as you look at this? Go ahead and read it in your mind. What does it really say? Are you sure? I love Paris in the springtime. Do you get it now? Whoa! What is this all about? It's about perception, about what it takes to succeed as a leader in terms of our strengths and areas to improve. And many times when we look at that, we look at things outside of ourselves. We say this: if you want your team to be better, you have to be better as a leader. That's the starting point. So how effective are managers today? Let's dig into it. Did you know, according to management derailment studies, over 50% of managers fail? There's over 15 million managers in the U.S. Half of them are going to work failing. The other half, many of them have shortcomings that really there is no excuse for. 50% of managers, for example, didn't know if you improve service and quality, you'd reduce your operating costs. 50% of managers didn't know that when you praise behavior, it'll be repeated. 60% of managers didn't think it's right to brag about an employee in front of others. And 2/3 of managers don't set goals. Can you believe that? With their people, they don't put them in writing. 70% of managers didn't know that the best way to solve an employee problem is through a mutual decision-making process. Notice the numbers are getting worse. 80% of managers didn't know that observations and feedback when you give should be specific, not general. 85% of service and quality problems are management related. And 91% of employees like and want recognition. Only half say they get any all ever. How would you grade these managers? What would you give them? And most managers and leaders and employees that we talk to, think about it now, would give them a D or an F. Wouldn't you agree with me that you can be better than that? And that the marketplace demands better than that. And to help us get out of economic challenges, we have to be better than that. And to keep our people, we need to be better than that. So there is a better way in terms of what we do. But you will see here, and I'm not going to read them all, is the top 10 areas where managers fail. Notice those. Maybe a couple of those are your strengths, but there may be some that you're not doing so well in. These are areas we need to shore up and get better in terms of what we do. So how does all this poor leadership behavior affect employees' engagement and satisfaction? Well, 50% of employees say that their managers fail to make them feel valued. 50% say that, well, their time is idle. They're not working hard. They don't want to go the extra mile. 55% of employees are unsatisfied with their jobs. In fact, we have the greatest employee disenchantment in our history. Think about it. Why? It's because of the leadership. because of their failures, because of what they've done. And 61% of employees feel they weren't treated as professionals. 65% of employees in North America weren't recognized last year. 77% of employees are looking for another job. And if it's that many, they're looking for another job. How are they doing in the job they have right now? Probably not their best, wouldn't you agree? 80% of employees say they don't get respect. 75% to 80% of the workforce is disengaged. In other words, they could care less about the company's goals. Think about that for a minute. And 88% of employees say they didn't get enough recognition. You know, the number one reason why employees quit because they hate their boss. And employees with bad bosses are 4 times greater to leave than others. Wow, when you think about that, And that manager-employee relationship, the greatest impact on employees' performance is direct supervisor. And employee dissatisfaction leads to lower productivity, customer service. When you think about it. And we're only running 76.5 in customer service, according to ACSI. It's got to be better than that. That's a C average. Whoa, we spend millions of dollars in organizations and efforts and time to create plans. But because of these leadership and management failures, these plans tend to look like this by the time, you know what I'm talking about here, if you've been in a corporate setting for 2 days, don't you? They end up looking like that because we don't have the execution, we don't have the buy-in, we don't have the commitment. We have to be more effective. So what do leaders need to do? That's the bottom line. And again, these are core strategies we put into our superstar leadership model, and they all go together. It's not isolated. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They go together with passion and consistency. Got to have clear goals and expectations. You'll see the research in terms of the impact and performance you can get on all these sightings that I give. You got to have ongoing training, not once a year, but week in, month out. Communication. Having team meetings, one-on-one, those kinds of things. Coaching. Coaching is for everybody. Huge impact. On the way over here to shoot this video, I made 7 coaching calls across the country. You can do coaching anytime, in person, on the phone, and make an impact. And I tell you what, it made a difference to those people I talked to. Leadership flexibility, been well documented that it makes a difference. Recognition, Jackson ROI study showed that if you recognize your team on a weekly basis, it makes a big impact. Having promotion incentives that challenge the team to greater heights. Focusing on excellent customer service because it takes employee satisfaction to get greater customer satisfaction and retention. And then tying your hiring practices into all of that. As I said, they all go together. This is what leaders need to do. Not a little bit of this, a little bit of that. They need to do all of it. Here's our superstar leadership model. These are the basic skills of effective management and leadership. Management one-on-one, leadership raising the team to great success to make a bottom line impact. That's what I'm talking about. You know what? We say this, there's no excuse not to be an excellent leader today, not to know what to do and how to do it. There's so much information out there to make it happen. So be a student of the game. Study, learn, grow, and you'll get fantastic results. That's what I'm talking about. Be a superstar leader today. Make a choice. Care about your people, your greatest asset, and you'll find great success and succeed as a leader. Thanks for coming, and take care.